Howdy, friend. Spitz here, and this is Feed Bandit, the Texas First Outdoors podcast. If you have ever been sitting out on a lonely deer stand in the dark or walking back to your truck after a long day of hunting down a dry creek bed, you have probably felt that strange, tingling feeling on the back of your neck. It is that sudden sensation that you aren't completely alone in the woods, and that something incredibly quiet, fast, and powerful might be watching you from the thick shadows of the cedar trees. In the great state of Texas, there is no animal that stirs up more campfire ghost stories, wild rumors, and deep fascination than our largest native cat. I am talking about the mountain lion. Also known as the cougar, the puma, or the panther, this magnificent apex predator is a true master of secrecy, capable of walking right past a human without making a single sound. Because they are so rare and so hard to find, they are surrounded by a mountain of old folklore and modern myths that can make it hard to know what is real and what is just a tall tale. Today, we are going to dive deep into the mysterious world of the Texas mountain lion. We will separate campfire fiction from biological reality, talk about where these giant cats actually live and hunt in the Lone Star State, and break down the exact woodcraft tips you need to identify their sign and stay safe if you ever meet the king of the brush face to face. So pull up a chair. We have a lot of ground to cover. To truly understand the mountain lion, you have to look past the scary stories and look straight at the biology of a master hunter. A fully grown Texas mountain lion is a massive animal, with males often weighing over 130 pounds and stretching nearly 8 feet long from the tip of their nose to the end of their long, heavy tail. They have a beautiful tawny or coat that matches the color of dry grass and red desert rocks perfectly, allowing them to blend into the scenery like a true phantom. One of the biggest myths in Texas is that we have black panthers running through our woods. People swear they see giant, solid black cats crossing the dirt roads all the time. But the scientific reality is that there has never been a single black mountain lion ever documented or verified in the history of North America. When folks see a large, dark shape in the brush, it is usually a trick of the shadows, a large feral hog, a dark-colored coyote, or a black jaguarundi cat down on the extreme southern border. Mountain lions live a highly solitary life, meaning they prefer to be completely alone unless a mother is raising her cubs. They claim massive territories that can cover over 100 square miles of rugged terrain, which is why their numbers are naturally very low. They don't run in packs like wolves or coyotes. They are lone rangers that patrol the highest ridges and deepest canyons of West Texas and the massive, thorny brush country of South Texas. They are incredibly powerful athletes, capable of leaping 20 feet forward in a single bound and jumping straight up a 10-foot rock wall with ease. They use this raw power to hunt their favorite food, which is almost always white-tailed deer, mule deer, and wild javelinas. They don't hunt humans, and they will almost always choose to run away and hide long before a person ever realizes they are in the area. Let's get into the technical deep dive on how to identify true mountain lion sign and understand their secret habits. My first big tip for you is to learn how to identify a real cougar track versus a common domestic dog or coyote track in the soft dirt. A mountain lion paw print is very large, usually measuring 3 to 4 inches wide, and it has a very distinct shape because cats have retractable claws, meaning they pull their claws inside their paws when they walk to keep them sharp. A real mountain lion track will almost never show any claw marks in the mud or sand. If you see a large footprint with deep, sharp claw points at the front of the toes, you are looking at a large dog, a wolf, or a coyote, not a cougar. Also, look at the back of the track. A mountain lion has a large heel pad with 3 distinct loops or indentations at the bottom edge, creating a shape that looks like an M with a curved top. A dog's heel pad only has 2 loops at the bottom. Learning these tiny differences will keep you from guessing when you find a track along a creek bottom. My second tip is to look for what biologists call a scrape, or a scent mound. To tell other lions that a piece of country is occupied, a male lion will use his back feet to scrape up a small pile of leaves, dirt, and pine needles along a ridge trail or under a bluff. He will then leave his scent on that little mound. If you find a fresh pile of dirt with a strong musk smell that looks like it was scraped together by a large paw, you are looking at a mountain lion's personal boundary marker. My third tip is to understand their unique caching behavior. When a mountain lion harvests a deer, it cannot eat the entire animal in a single sitting. To protect its food from vultures, coyotes, and beetles, the lion will drag the carcass into a thick hidden draw or under a pile of brush and completely cover it with leaves, grass, and dirt. This is called a food cache. If you are walking through the woods and stumble across a dead deer that has been neatly buried under a pile of forest debris, leave the area immediately. Mountain lions will stay near their cache for several days to protect it and finish their meal, and you do not want to surprise a giant cat when it is guarding its dinner. My fourth tip is to know exactly what to do if you ever experience a rare face-to-face meeting with a mountain lion in the wild. If a lion steps out onto the trail ahead of you, the absolute number one rule is do not turn your back and do not run. To a large predatory cat, a running target triggers their natural instinct to chase and tackle. Instead, stand your ground, look the lion straight in the eyes, and make yourself look as large and intimidating as possible. Raise your arms above your head, open up your jacket wide, and speak in a loud, firm, and confident voice. If the lion doesn't leave and starts moving closer, throw stones, sticks, or anything you can find toward it without bending over completely. Show the cat that you are a dangerous opponent, not a helpless prey animal. My fifth tip is to use game cameras to safely study the secret movements of wildlife on your property. Because mountain lions are so active during the dark hours of midnight and dawn, a trail camera placed along a rocky bluff line or near a remote water hole is often the only way to ever catch a glimpse of these beautiful cats. Look for natural funnels in the landscape, like a narrow gap between two rock hills or an old animal path through a thick cedar brake where a traveling lion would naturally choose to walk. My sixth tip is to maintain a healthy respect for the natural balance of predators and prey. A mountain lion is a vital component of a healthy outdoor environment. By hunting the older and weaker deer, they help keep the herd strong and prevent them from overpopulating and destroying the grass and water resources that every other animal needs to survive. Understanding the reality of the mountain lion is a premier part of preserving our rugged Texas outdoor tradition because it connects us directly to the ancient, untamed spirit of the old frontier. When our ancestors first crossed the Sabinal and Guadalupe rivers to build their homesteads, they shared the wilderness with these grand, silent predators, and learning how to respect their power was a mandatory part of pioneer life. Preserving this heritage means replacing fear with true knowledge and honor, teaching our children that a wild animal doesn't have to be a monster just because it is powerful and fierce. Protecting the legacy means being good conservationists and stewards of the big country, ensuring that our massive ranch lands and rugged state parks remain large and wild enough to support all of our native wildlife, from the smallest quail to the largest cat. There is an incredible sense of pride that comes from standing on a high limestone ridge at sunset, looking out over the endless miles of brush, and knowing that the phantom of the canyons is still out there, walking silently through the shadows. It is a sign that Texas is still wild, still independent, and still full of the grand mysteries that make our home state the greatest place on earth. Learn the signs of the woods and protect the magnificent legacy of our native wild country. So what do you think of that? Are we right on target, or did we totally miss the boat on that one? Email us at howdy@feedbandit.com and let us know either way. And don't forget to check us out at feedbandit.com and grab some gear to show off your Texas First Outdoors pride. Preserve the tradition, protect the legacy, and remember, always support your local feed store. If you're there for them, they'll be there for you when you need them the most out in the field. Stand tall, fellow Texian. We'll talk soon.